Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I will start my first page from the My Zodiac Bestiary coloring book. Together with this video I have published a flip-through of this interesting book. It's my second book by the same artist. I have already colored in my fantasy bestiary, and as paper in both books is quite thick, almost like a cardstock, in the first book I used a lot of acrylic paints, and I decided that for this page I also will start from acrylic and acrylic gouache. Here I have Sagittarius or Archer sign, and immediately I imagined that I wanted to color everything with very warm colors, very limited color palette with only couple of bright elements. I would say that for me, color palette which I selected is quite unusual. I don't use such colors very often, and it was one of the reasons why I was so eager to do this page. I think that animal here was supposed to represent fox, but I didn't want to color fox. I recently did another page where I colored fox, so for me it's just some fantasy animal. I didn't want to connect it with any of the real animals. I just wanted to think about color palette, color balance on the page. So I started from the background. I really wanted to mask some black lines on the background. I also will try black lines on the main character also, but on the background I definitely wanted to get rid of them. So I used acrylic paint in flesh color and acrylic gouache in pastel yellow and white. It was my first layer. I really love to work with acrylic because they dry very quickly, and when I finished to apply my first layer, it was possible to go over the same area with the second layer. So I created something like clouds on the background using a white gouache. It's my most opaque white paint, so I used it in each of the areas which I wanted to where I wanted to get rid of the black lines, and then I wanted to intensify color. As here we have Archer, I wanted to make this impression of the movement more visible. I wanted to emphasize this movement. So on the second layer, when I used brighter colors like brilliant yellow and yellow ochre, on the background I created something which resemble clouds, but they all goes according to the direction of the arrow. I decided to start coloring main character with Arteza pencils. When I did my last coloring in the previous book by Viktoria, I didn't have my Arteza, so I hadn't tested them yet on this paper, so I was very curious. I really love arrangement of brown colors in the big set of Arteza pencils, so I selected several shades of browns and I started to color the bow. I tried hard to stay in a limited color palette, and mostly colors will be beige, brown and pale yellow. So for the parts of the bow which are made from wood, I selected so-called natural brown colors like light amber or cocoa brown from Arteza set. And for the leather parts and also for the elements on the gloves, I selected a more reddish brown like burnt sienna. For the clothes of the archer, I decided to use gray-brown colors, and in such cases when you need muted natural looking colors with a lot of gray and a lot of brown, your best choice obviously is set of Derwent drawing pencils. In order to make some contrast to warm brown, beige and warm gray colors, which I mostly used on this page, for the skin and for the fur, I decided to use gray. I combined one Arteza pencil and 70% cool gray from Prismacolors, and I also decided that hair will be almost black. I mixed black with Derwent Drawing chocolate. So this coloring was a mix of Prismacolor Arteza and Derwent Drawing pencils, and I was quite happy how they behaved together. For me, it was very refreshing coloring. I hadn't used my acrylic or gouache paints for some time, so I was very happy to return to them. I also was very happy how background looked when I put first quite thick layer of the paint on the paper. I was able to mask black lines, and then when I wanted to add some color accents and to make colors in several areas more prominent, more intense, I added water to the acrylic and gouache paints, so I did glazing. I used them more like watercolors, and I really loved this effect. In the end, after almost everything was finished, after I used Posca markers in order to mask the black lines on the arms and on the folds of the clothes, I decided that background is still not enough intense for my taste, so the third medium, apart from acrylic paints and pencils, the third medium was Neocolor crayons. I used a couple of them, again in very warm colors. I used cinnamon and English red, and they helped me to finish background and to create better contrast between main character and background. I really enjoyed this coloring process. I enjoyed mixing various mediums in order to get exactly the same result as I imagined. I think that for next pictures from this book, I will try to use more paints and less pencils. For me, it will be nice training, nice step out of the comfort zone, because when I don't use some medium for some time, I feel like I am not confident, I start to lose my confidence, but with practice I again start to enjoy working with this medium. So I really will try to color more with paints, watercolors or acrylic paints, and less with pencils. Paper in this book is perfect for mixed media, so I will try to experiment more. I hope that you will be able to find something interesting in this video. I speeded up this coloring in order not to make this video very boring, and don't forget to watch the flip through of this beautiful book.